Thursday edition of Man Hour, January 25th, 2024. And we gotta do one thing. We gotta answer the damn question. We are sick and tired of you guys floating around, doing the stupid stuff. It is time to answer that God question. I don't know what's going on. Mute some stuff there. I'm so confused. Hoffy, do you hear that shit? Yeah, it's like double muting. I don't know what's going on. I think I fixed it. Oh, cue that intro. And now,
you don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the list sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhatcher here with the Man Hour. I didn't have Mike Stoss because I had like triple music playing in my ear, and it was giving me the brain pain, coach. I didn't know what was going on. But if you guys are new here, consider liking and subscribing to the platform, whatever you're listening to us on. We are live every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. East Coast time until the foreseeable future. And today, we got to answer that damn question. But before we do that, we got to welcome some people in the chat. We got John Peoples in the chat. He says, what is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? Good morning to you, John. Hoping you're having a grand old day, my man. And guys, the phone lines are officially open. The phone lines open at 812-406-0322. I got the old iPad right here on my desk, ready to answer some phone calls. So when you're ready to call in and talk your come in and do it. But a man that is covered in is my man, Mr. John Hoffman. What is up, Hoffy?
I told you that in secret of confidence.
Hey, everybody's had babies. We know how it works.
Damn kid shits on me again. I'm returning him back to the hospital where he came from.
Yeah. Get him out of town. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Can you return a baby?
Yeah. What is the exchange policy on this thing?
Do I get a 60-day return policy on this thing?
Yeah,
I'm just
not.
kidding. He's very cute. I'll keep him.
I mean, if it's 60 days, you better hurry up. It's been right about 30, hasn't it? Snoop's a month old.
Yeah, tomorrow will be 1 month.
Dang, time flies, man, when you're having fun.
Yeah, time flies when you're getting shit and pissed on.
Yeah, allegedly.
Oh, it ain't allegedly.
It is what it is, guys. But it is If and Then Thursday here. We're going to answer some questions here, and my shit is all messed up. I don't know what's going on. Kids must have been down here playing with it. But guys, it is If and Then Thursday here. We're going to answer those damn questions. So if you guys got any questions, any comments, or any concerns, let me know down in the comments. This is a live interactive show, as I do have a script. It is very loosey-goosey script. Much like much of your girlfriends. Very, very loosey-goosey. You can throw hot dogs down those damn hallways. When you're working with little smokies, it's a lot of room to play with. So we got a lot of room to play with here today, Hoffy. But for the people that don't know don't know what answer the damn question is, we've been proposing these questions. We've been trolling the old interwebs out there, and we're like, hey, we've seen people waffling around. We've been seeing people do a little bit of do a little bit of that. But I'm gonna answer the question to Hoffy. I'm gonna answer it or ask it to myself and Hoffy. We gotta answer that damn question. No waffling around. Answer that damn question. Are you ready for a party?
Let's do it.
I like to do it. Sorry, we watched a little of Madagascar last night. But it is Super Bowl not weekend. It's championship weekend for many teams out there, a.k.a. the Ravens taking on the Chiefs, and then the 49ers taking on the Lions. We have 4 teams left here in this Final Four segment of the NFL season, and this is kind of the championship games that we were all kind of expecting and kind of looking forward to, kind of be like, hey, you know what, this is probably what is going to happen, right? But Lamar Jackson has kind of been promising a Super Bowl for the city of Baltimore for a very, very long time. Since the night he was drafted, he said within 5 years, I am bringing a Super Bowl to Baltimore. Well, he is now on his 6th year of his career, and now he finally has an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. Or make it to the Super Bowl. Not even win it, just make it. But, Huffy, so the question is, what if Lamar Jackson doesn't make the Super Bowl? What if Lamar Jackson loses to the almighty Kansas City Chiefs? And then I start to digging around at these stats here, and we are kind of all in the assumption here that Lamar Jackson will win the MVP next Tuesday night. When the award shows happen, the NFL awards happen the February 8th, I think it is, so it might be Thursday night. I'm not for sure. But either way, we all expect Lamar Jackson to win the MVP. When we look at Lamar Jackson's stats across the board, this season, in the regular season, he was 15th in passing. He had 3,678 yards passing, 24 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He did have the 4th best ratio to that touchdown to interception ratio, sitting behind Derek Carr, 25-8, sitting behind C.J. Stroud, 23-5, and of course the almighty Dak Prescott, 36-9. He was also first in rushing, among quarterbacks with 821 yards with 5 touchdowns, and that gave him 22nd in rushing overall in the league with running backs and quarterbacks combined there. So, Huffy, if Lamar Jackson does not make the Super Bowl, he is going to be the modern day Dan Marino. He is going to be the modern day Dan Marino that can be really, really good in the regular season, can do a lot of good things, can win a lot of awards and stats and like all that crap, but can never win the big game. If Lamar Jackson does not win the Super Bowl this season or even make it to the Super Bowl this season, I don't think he will ever get an opportunity to go back. Lamar Jackson better figure himself out real freaking quick against the Kansas City Chiefs, because it is do or die time. It is time to shit or get off the pot time. It is time to stop doing it and start to be about it, right? He signed a very, very big deal this offseason, Huffy, and it is time to live up to that deal. So, Huffy, let me ask you this question. What if Lamar Jackson doesn't make the Super Bowl?
I agree with what you kind of said. He's going to be kind of the modern day Dan Marino. He's 2-3 in the playoffs, and none of his playoff games outside of this last one where he, rushed for 100 yards, threw for 150 or whatever it was. Other than that, he has not performed very well. He's lost to, Buffalo, Tennessee twice. He's lost to the LA Chargers, but he now has absolutely no excuses. He has a number 1 defense. He has, weapons at both tight end, because I believe that he's getting Mark Andrews back for this game. He's got Flowers. He's got a proven veteran that shows up in the playoffs in Odell Beckham. So, like you said, it's put up or shut up now. It's a what have you done for me lately league. So if he loses this game, I don't think anyone is going to bother talking about, well, look what he did to this, stout Texans defense this last. It's like you said, it is going to be he's going to be today's, Dan Marino.
Yeah, and with that being said, when Lamar Jackson loses in the postseason, when Lamar Jackson loses, period, Huffy, who does the blame get placed on? Oh, he doesn't have no weapons. The offensive coordinator's bad. Oh, the defense played a bad game. It's never Lamar Jackson. Never Lamar Jackson's reason why they lose. Now, if they win, oh, Lamar Jackson played phenomenal. No, he threw for 200 yards. He rushed for 50. He threw a couple touchdowns. He is the freaking man, right? At some point, the blame's got to be put on Lamar Jackson. I am tired of hearing you guys putting him up on this pedestal over and over and over when he hasn't done shit in the league. Let's just be honest. What has Lamar Jackson done in the league? Oh, he's won an MVP. Cool. Great accomplishment. Probably going to win his second MVP. Awesome. We get it. Do that. Do something in the postseason, man. Yes, he did. Yes, the Ravens did beat a Houston Texans team. What did Lamar Jackson do stat-wise, Hoffy? 150 yards passing, 100 yards rushing. Not really blow you out of the water type of numbers. Now, he did. I don't think he threw any interceptions. I don't think he even got sacked in that game. He was pressured a few times, made a couple bad decisions, but luckily for them, the Houston Texans were like, I don't want any part of it whatsoever. So
yeah, he beat a Houston Texans team that these past 3 years has, won a collective, like 4 games a year.
Right.
So a team that, was not supposed to, nobody at the beginning of the year thought they were going to win the division. Nobody thought they were probably even going to win more than 8 games. No one thought they were going to be in the playoffs. I mean, so that's a team that you're supposed to beat, and you're supposed to beat pretty easily. And that game was pretty close up until, towards the end, and they pulled away. I mean, they went into halftime tied. So
right.
As far as the Texans, as a Texans fan, that in itself was a win. So, nothing to hang your head on if you're a Texans fan, but you had to win that game as a Ravens fan. Otherwise, the talk about, Lamar Jackson would be that much worse. So
would it though?
Yeah, if they lost to that Texans team and he didn't perform, I don't think that. I think it would have been some serious changes that would have been made. But that being said, I'm sure you heard his little press conference. I don't know, yesterday, day before.
I'm not.
But when have you ever heard Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes say, "No, I don't want to go against the best"? No, But he flat out, someone asked him, "What do you like about going up against Patrick Mahomes?" "I don't." He's already setting himself up for failure, in the fact that he doesn't want to, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And he does not seem to have that mentality.
Or let me play devil's advocate here. Maybe Lamar thinks he's the best in his mind, and Patrick Mahomes is just another person on the radar that he's going to shoot down. Maybe that was the mentality going into the press conference.
Oh, he hasn't beat him yet, so
yeah. No, I thought the Ravens beat the Chiefs in the regular season one time, weren't they?
Right, they beat him once, but playoffs is where it all counts.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes has never lost to the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, but has never beat them in the regular season. So there is that going for you guys. So in the comments below, guys, let me know what happens if Lamar Jackson does not make it to the Super Bowl. What are some realistic outcomes? Does John Harbaugh get fired? Or is the jury out on Lamar Jackson? What is going to happen, guys? Let us know in the comments below. John says, best passer during the season next to Peyton Manning, but chokes in the championships. Dak Jr. See, this is the problem. Everything gets thrown back at Dak, right? We've seen Dak. He puts up good numbers in versus above 500 teams, below 500 teams. Dak puts up good numbers. In the playoffs, he was kind of shell-shocked a little bit, right? The Packers came in and did some work. The Packers damn near shocked the 49ers too. So I don't think you can totally chalk up that loss to Dak Prescott. Maybe the Green Bay Packers were just that good. But to say that Lamar Jackson is the Dak Jr., isn't that kind of a compliment, Hoffy?
Yeah, and to also put him in the same category as Peyton Manning and call him best passer.
Yeah.
By no means would I put Lamar Jackson up in that category of best passer.
John says, no effort in D-Town. Listen, I kind of want to talk too much about the Dallas Cowboys because, I get deemed a Cowboy lover every time I talk about them. But that game was, 2 weeks ago? Hoffy? There is a reason why the Cowboys always kind of, quote, shit the bed in the playoffs. Because their coordinators are consistently being cherry-picked, right? Like, hey, let me interview you two days before you go into a big playoff game. Let me interview you all week so you don't have time to prep for the game, right? Now, if you are looking into this kind of thing, look no further than the Detroit Lions and Brian Johnson. I believe it was Who was flying up to see him this week? Was it the Washington Commanders? I think the Washington Commanders are flying into Detroit to interview Brian Johnson for 2 days. The Detroit Lions are playing the biggest game in their history right now, and their offensive coordinator is being drug off to do interview for the Commanders. Like, the 49ers might walk away with this. I'm just saying.
As a 49ers fan, I love it.
Yeah, as a, I guess, hater of every team besides the Chiefs and Cowboys, I love it too, right? I'm like, but it is what it is.
Hey, add the Packers in there too. A little bit of love for the Packers.
A little bit of luck. Go Pack, go. Where's my cheese head? Yeah, I can put the cheese head on. Go Pack, go. But that was one of the best atmospheres I've ever been to. I had so much fun up there. John says that Brokeback Mountain look on her face. What the hell are you talking about, John? Get this man a beer. It's 10:30. He's sobering up. He's not making no damn sense. That Brokeback Mountain look on her face. LOL. What? John, I love you, man. I love your support, but that makes no damn sense, bro. Like, I feel like I'm talking to a 3-year-old right now. That Brokeback Mountain look on her face. What are you talking about? Hoffy, like, you have what? Your boys are 11 and, right? They're 11 or 10.
10-year-old twins, and then my third is a month old today.
So
tomorrow.
So River just turned 6, right? And this kid has a memory of a freaking elephant. He's like, Dad, do you remember when I was 3 and you took me to Walmart and you said I could have a monster truck and we didn't get a monster truck and you said we'll do it later? Well, it's now later and I want a monster truck. I'm like, how the hell do you remember that shit? Like, this is
my son Aaron, ADHD to the max. But you ask him, if you're looking for something, what are you looking for? You tell him, he knows exactly where it is.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, can you apply that to your schoolwork, please, sir?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. His meaning, your face, fat fingers.
What in the flying?
That Brokeback Mountain look on his face.
What the fuck?
Speaking of that look, Coffee, and what the WTF, Philadelphia Eagles have fired their offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson, and then, of course, their defensive coordinator, Sean Desani, as well, after the epic collapse of the 2023 NFL season. Started off 10-1 and lost 6 of their next 7 games in that span. Nick Sirianni said, we need to move ways. We need to find something. We need to change the culture inside the locker room, and it starts with those 2 guys. The Philadelphia Eagles guys, stat-wise on the offensive side of the ball, weren't too bad last season. They are ranked 9th in total offense. They averaged 354 yards per game with 49 total touchdowns. Passing, they were ranked 16th with 225 yards passing, 24 touchdowns. Rushing, they were 8th with 129 yards per game with 24 touchdowns. And they were 7th in scoring offense, averaging 25.5 points per game. They were behind the Dallas Cowboys, which averaged 29.9 games. So it was all very, very convoluted and very, very close there at the top. On the defensive side of the ball, they did struggle. They were 26th overall, 356.1 yards per game, 51 touchdowns. Passing, they were damn near dead last. They were 31st in passing, giving up 252 yards per game. In rushing, they were near the top. They were ranked 10th with giving up 103 yards per game, which the Detroit Lions, the Chicago Bears were ranked first, giving up 83 yards per game. So, with all that being said, we have to ask the question, what if the Philadelphia Eagles have another epic collapse? What if we see them start off 10-1 and they lose next to their 6 of their 7 and they get blown out in the playoffs by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? If that happens, Nick Sirianni, Hoffy, is gone. There's no question about it. But if that happens, I am questioning Jalen Hurts' ability to lead a team. I am questioning Jalen Hurts' ability to be a league MVP. conversation last year, right? I am questioning Jalen Hurts' ability to have that big lucrative deal. Maybe he was just a flash in the pan year 3. Maybe AJ Brown was that guy and could elevate him over there like over the top. But if the Eagles have another epic collapse like they did last season in 2023, Nick Sirianni's gone and Jalen Hurts is gone 100%. Jalen Hurts is going to be a walking free agent 100%. Now, he's probably going to get picked up by like the Giants and have a lackluster career. But Hoffy, what happens if the Philadelphia Eagles start off 10-1 again next year and they have an epic collapse like they did this year?
Yeah, when you lose 6 out of your last 7 games after starting 10-1, I mean, you got to save face and changes need to be made. I think that they probably, I'm going to stick with it and say that, I mean, there's been some, I don't know of previous years where there's been, these, we'll call them free agent coaches, such as a Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel. I think this year would have been the year to really, when have we had, open, coaches that were available to be had that have, the, this kind of, resume that these coaches have. So I'm not surprised that they fired the coordinators. I think I would have started with Nick Sirianni, but I agree with you. If this happens again next year, or if they don't make a deep playoff run, I could see them saying, you know what, we're moving on from Nick Sirianni. And yes, I think the questions of Jalen Hurts will come into play. I mean, he did not do well his first year. They got him, he had Smith. They got him, Brown. He's got Goddard as a tight end. He's got Swift. Even when he was with Oklahoma, he had CeeDee Lamb. And then when he was with Alabama, he had, I believe he also had Smith again at Alabama. He also had, Ruggs. He's always had playmakers around him. So I think it's going to come down to he can't, play without having, superstar talent around him. So I think at that point, his contract is going to be, something that you're going to start losing players here because with the amount of money you're paying him, you're not going to be able to give him those star players like when Swift comes up for his contract extension or when Smith is off that rookie deal. And you're really going to take a hit, I think, on the offensive side of the ball as far as stats. I think that, unless if you can keep them in third and more than 3, that tush play is taken away and he's not as an effective quarterback. So I think Sirianni is gone and you're going to have to start looking into whether or not you made a mistake with Jalen Hurts and potential moving on from him.
Yeah, I think that tush push is gone either way since Jason Kelsey is more than likely retiring after this season anyways. But let me kind of piggyback on what you said. I think Nick Sirianni kind of had a wild card in his hand this season, right? By simply making it to the Super Bowl last season, that gives him 2 extra years to kind of flounder around like a fish. This year, he had an scapegoat because he did have to hire 2 brand new coordinators, right? The new offensive coordinator and the new defensive coordinator, because those 2 respective persons, people went to coach at Arizona and then coach at the Indianapolis Colts as well. So by them failing the last couple weeks of the season, he had an scapegoat. That's why I think we saw him take kind of a different approach the last 6 weeks because he was trying to save his job, I think, and deflect everything on other people, right? That's why the defensive coordinator, what's his name? Sean Testani, or how you say his name. That's why he did take the play calling from him and give it to Matt Patricia. Now, Matt Patricia does have experience of calling the defensive plays, sure, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's Matt Patricia. The worst head coach of all time. Fall GOAT number 1. Now, I do not... You want
to make him the worst coach of all time over Hugh Jackson?
Yeah, 100%. But no question in my mind. But with that being said, the firing of Brian Johnson, their offensive coordinator, kind of scratched my head like a little bit because they were a top half offense all season long. I mean, 7th in scoring, 8th in rushing, 16th in passing, 9th overall offense. That doesn't scream like a fireable offense, does it, Hoffy?
No, and a lot, I've kind of, seen on the comments and stuff, a lot of the fans really liked, the offensive coordinator and thought that Brian Johnson was a candidate to be a head coach somewhere. And, so, yeah, I mean, come on down to New England.
So let's jump in the comments here. Caroline says, "Did you guys see Jim Harbaugh as the head coach of the Chargers?" And Hoffy wants to say, "Who is Jim?" Jim Harbaugh is John Harbaugh's brother. There, Hoffy. The old coach of Michigan.
I'm a Michigan man. I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I know who he is. He delivers championships.
Then why'd you say who is Jim?
I don't know.
Oh.
Just, engaging in the comments.
Trying to get their goat. Caroline's smarter than that, Hoffy. You should know that. Jim says, "I'm hauling one of my dump trailers to the dump. Any opinions you need to take with me?" Excuse me.
Yeah. The Raiders will win the Super Bowl in the next 10 years.
How about this? The Raiders will have 5 wins with their new head coach. Get that out of here. John says,
that's probably true.
John says, if the Eagles have an epic collapse again, bye-bye, coach. So long. See ya, alligator. Timothy's in the chat. He says, Ravens defense way too strong this Sunday. We'll be talking a lot about the Ravens and Chiefs tomorrow. We actually talked a little bit about Lamar Jackson today, but I do agree, Timothy, if we hear a lot of Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, and Harrison, and Javavion Clowney on Sunday when the Chiefs and Ravens play, it's going to be a long day for Kansas City, but I don't think we're going to hear a lot of their names. We will see. We'll see. Jim says
safety is an absolute stud.
Who?
Their safety out of Notre Dame.
Is it the Harrison guy? Is that what his name is?
I believe so.
Jim says Nick Sirianni wins 11 games in Vegas. He gets the Jimmy G treatment at the titty bars in Vegas, and he's going to be measured by fans or owners' expectations.
No, Kyle Hamilton, excuse me.
Kyle Hamilton, yeah. Timothy says, besides this college championship, who is Jim? Let's just go ahead and jump in and talk about Jim Harbaugh, guys. So Jim Harbaugh has been officially hired as the Los Angeles Chargers head coach. This is his second stint in the NFL, and Jim Harbaugh has been a winner everywhere he has gone. He started his coaching career at Western Kentucky as a hilltopper, as an unpaid assistant coach. Then he went to San Diego, led them to a bowl game, went to Stanford, had a winning career there, went to the 49ers. What has he done besides college championship? He led the 49ers to the Super Bowl that particular year. Alex Smith got hurt, week 5, week 6. Colin Kaepernick came in, had a grand old time. And then he went to Michigan, won a national championship all over there. And now he arguably takes over one of the most talented rosters in the NFL with the LA Chargers. So, Hoffy, with that being said, when we look at Jim Harbaugh, we see his career track record. Everywhere he goes, he wins. Just win, baby, win. What if he turns this LA Chargers franchise what if he transcends this LA Chargers team, makes them in a Super Bowl contending team?
I mean, if he can turn, I think this first year it's going to be a lot of just kind of building that chemistry and stuff. I mean, you have the Kansas City Chiefs in there. You have, the Broncos. They kind of seem to maybe, but they're going to probably be, blowing that whole thing up. So, I could see the Chargers getting a wild card spot, but if within the next 3 seasons, Harbaugh, brings them to an AFC championship or brings them to a Super Bowl, we're going to have to start talking to, talking about him as a top, potentially a top 5 coach. It's going to take a solid body of work to pass Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, but I think he could, easily be up there with the conversations of Mike Tomlin, and some of the other, coaches that people put in high regard, such as his brother. He could surpass his brother as well. So I think he could be, a top 5 coach. if he's able to deliver for this city of LA Chargers.
So let's look at the LA Chargers the last couple seasons. Since 2018, Hoffy, they went 12-4. They won the division in 2018. They lost in their divisional round. No playoff wins whatsoever. 2019, they were 5-11. 2020, they were 7-9. 2021, they were 9-8. 2022, they were 10-7. Made the wild card game, gave up a 28-point lead to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who ultimately lose this game. And this year, they went 5-12. So historically, they have not been a very, very good team. Even when Phillip Rivers was their all-time leading passer with the San Diego LA Chargers, right? LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, all-time rusher for the Chargers. Never win in the playoffs. They could be really, really good. They could be 13-3, but they're going to be a first-round exit every freaking time. So if Jim Harbaugh, Hoffy, can go into Los Angeles and make the Chargers a competitive team, meaning we're talking divisional championship games year after year after year, a couple AFC championship games, maybe a couple Super Bowl appearances in the next 6, 7, 8 years, he will be the greatest coach of all time, Hoffy. There is no question in my mind that he will be the greatest coach of all time. Everywhere he has gone, he has been a winner. As a coach, Hoffy, he does not have a losing career at said school or team or wherever he has been. As a career coaching record, he is damn near 700. Wrap your head around that.
Yeah,
7 out of 10,
there's been
he's winning.
five coaches that have ever appeared in both a college national championship as well as a Super Bowl. I believe only 3 have ever won both, and that's Barry Switzer, Jimmy Johnson, and Pete Carroll. And then you got Bobby Ross. He was also and Bobby Ross and Harbaugh are the other 2 that have been in the Super Bowl and a college championship, but haven't won both yet. So, Harbaugh lost to his brother, John, in that previous championship. So, yeah, he would definitely. I think you would have to. People talk about Nick Saban as one of the best coaches, especially in college, but he couldn't do anything in the NFL. So I think if I almost think already. What he did with Stanford, what he did with the Hilltoppers, and what he did with Michigan, that could very well put him in front of Nick Saban. And people will probably come at me for that comment, but Nick Saban was at a powerhouse Alabama where he could just any player he wanted he could get. Whereas Stanford, Hilltoppers, Michigan, he's restored the dominance at Michigan, but when he came there, they were winning 6, 7 games a year. They hadn't beaten Ohio State in quite some time, and he completely restored dominance there. Beat Ohio pretty much every year he was there. Won a national championship. So I think you could argue him as one of the best best coaches of all time in college right now, and could very well be up there with, like you said, best coach period.
Yes.
If he can get the job done.
So our man Ant is jumping in the chat here. What is up, Ant? And he says, imagine if the Chargers had kept Drew Brees. Listen, I think the Chargers would have been a hell of a lot worse off with Drew Brees at their helm, because sometimes a player, a team, a coach needs a new change of scenery, right? Drew Brees was just coming off a shoulder operation. I think he tore his rotator cuff in San Diego with the Chargers, and that's why they ultimately went with Phillip Rivers and moved on. So let's say he would have been in San Diego still, and he would have came back from his rotator cuff. I don't think the Chargers would have benefited from having him over Phillip Rivers, one way or the other. Now, Drew Brees did have a great career in New Orleans, right? They won 1 Super Bowl, went to 2, Hoffy, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3. He did have a really, really good career in New Orleans, but he also had a lot of good help around him, a lot of good coaching. Sean Payton, right? He had Sean Payton his whole career there. So It is.
He had Jimmy Graham, Michael Thomas. He had some. Jimmy Horn, I believe, was before Thomas. So yeah, he's always had. Reggie Bush. He's always had some positive, some good players around him.
John says Nick Saban is the GOAT. The portal is why he bailed. The reason why Nick Saban is the GOAT is because Alabama afforded to pay those players, and now they were doing it so sneakily, so not getting caught. And now that it is okay across the board, he couldn't compete. I've had a couple players talk to Nick Saban in person in recruiting visits. You know what his recruiting pitch is, Hoffy? How much you want to win a national championship? What is it worth to you? That's his pitch. Not like, oh, you're going to be playing, I'm going to get you into the NFL. It's basically, how can you help me get another national championship on my hand? That's the whole pitch. Now, when you're getting paid and I can live in beautiful Miami or California or the Ohio State and walk around like a god, why do I want to go to Alabama and sit on the bench? That's
Shador Sanders buying a Rolls Royce, playing for Colorado.
Yeah. It's definitely a different game. Hell, I have a high school kid getting paid $1,000 a week here. A high school kid. He left our school to go to a different school because the other school was paying him $1,000 a week to come play. He's in eighth grade.
It's more than some people making a year.
He's in eighth grade. Eighth grade. His balls haven't even dropped yet. Whatever. It is what it is. John says, no, the players can't wait their turn, so it keeps scholarships in the turn cycle. I don't want to get in too deep into the college realm here because this is obviously a NFL show, but I think the portal is good for college football, right? So when I get recruited to said school, back in my day, right? You get recruited to said school, right? My coach leaves, gets fired, whatever. Let's say my coach decides to take a job across the state, whatever, right? Cool. Congratulations. He is getting that bread. I cannot pull my letter of intent because he left, right? I have to have, quote, a valid excuse not to go to said school. And then the NCAA, the National JUCO College Association, whatever division you are in, then rules and saying, oh, that reason isn't good enough. You have to sit out a year, right? So there were people out there that said, oh, my mom is sick. I want to live closer to home because I'm 12 hours away from home. If my mom happens to get sick and I need to be there, I want to be there. A very valid reason to move to said school, right? The NCAA made this kid sit out 1 year because it wasn't a valid excuse. So the transfer portal, there's definitely like a lot of movement, but at the end of the day, that just means your school has to be better. Your school has to recruit better. You have to get better coaches. You have to understand how kids' brains work right now. And unfortunately, I want to play now. Back in the day, when you went to Alabama or USC or Florida State, you had the ability to sit on the bench for 3 years or whatever, come out and ball out your senior year because you needed to get tape on TV. You needed those draft scouts, those coaches, etc., to see you on TV. Nowadays, everybody and their dog's got a TV deal, Hoffy. Here in Louisville, Kentucky, I can turn on and watch the North Texas Bulls or whatever the hell they're called on ESPN Plus Ocho Cinco de Mayo channel, right? And I get to watch their games live, right? And then everybody and their dogs got Huddle. Huddle is a highlight thing where kids upload their highlights and send out to coaches. Hey, coach, check this out. Hey, coach, check this out. Whatever, right? I don't have to go to these schools anymore to be on TV. Everybody's got a TV deal. So it's just Nick Saban is an old head, and he's pissed off that the times moved past him. His money, his TV deals, and the notoriety of Alabama is kind of right. It is what sorry.
Deion Sanders said it best. I mean, we can't. These high schoolers, these kids coming into college can't be faithful to their girlfriend. How do you expect them to be faithful to a college? And same. Coaches can jump ship whenever they want, but why can't the players? So if you're gonna allow the coaches to jump ship, I think that the players should be allowed to jump ship too.
I agree 100%. Just like in real life. If I get a better opportunity working at Chevy and Ford, I'm going to take the opportunity. It is what it is. Ant agrees with you, Hoffy. Good one. NBA Joey. What's up, Joey? Says, Isaac told me you were saying that Lamar is not a top 3 quarterback. He's not, Joey.
He's not. And I think your buddy right above you, WB Ant, would agree that he's not a top 3 quarterback. So
yeah, he's not even top 10. Lamar sucks. Face it. Great in the regular season.
That might be pushing it there.
No. I'm back on that train. Lamar Jackson's trash. Trash, Hoffy.
What happens when he wins the Super Bowl this year?
The refs did it for him. Is that too soon? The refs paid the meteorologist to predict snow, and it snowed like 8 foot. And
last I checked, the black and white stripes were red and white, not purple and white.
Exactly. No. Moving on. The Detroit Lions, guys, they are on pace to make their first Super Bowl in, I don't know, since 1957, since the team was founded. Actually, it's forever ago, but the team was founded like, 1901 or whatever. But since 1957, the Detroit Lions have just been a mediocre, at best, organization in the NFL. Right now, guys, they are poised to make a Super Bowl run if they can beat the San Francisco 49ers this weekend. So, Hoffy, I want to kick it to you first. What happens if the Detroit Lions win or go to the Super Bowl after beating the 49ers this weekend?
They have a 2-week party and celebrate the fact that they are going to appear in the Super Bowl because that's about all they're going to be able to cheer for, because there is no way in hell that they beat the Ravens or the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I think that I'm loving me some MCDC and what he's brought to that city, but he's probably what you're going to get from Shanahan, as a coach. The guy can blow a 10-point lead, et cetera. So he's not going to blow you away as far as if you're going head to head with another coach. But that being said, you go against John Harbaugh or Andy Reid, he's going to get exposed, I think. I think that, those fourth down critical situations where he goes for, Spagnuolo, that Ravens defense, someone is going to have a plan for that, and he's going to get punched in the mouth. So good for them. They appear in the Super Bowl. They can hang that banner of, NFC champions, but they will not be hanging a Super Bowl banner by any means.
So I wanted to go 2 ways on this, Hoffy. I wanted to go, Kyle Shanahan is the worst championship coach of all time. He has been to 4 playoffs. He's been to 4 NFC championship games and only been to 1 Super Bowl. So therefore, he is 1 and 2 in NFC championship.
He's been to 2
games.
Super Bowls.
Who? No, he hasn't.
Yeah, 28-3, offensive coordinator
As a head coach, but whatever.
I mean, it's just as bad. 28-3 as the offensive coordinator, he couldn't deliver.
That's a defensive problem. That's a head coaching problem. As a head coach, he has been to the playoffs 4 times and been to 4 championship games, been only 1 Super Bowl. But I didn't want to be deemed a 49ers hater, Hoffy. I didn't want to be deemed as hating on your team. So I'm going to go a different way on this. I'm going to go on this way. If the Detroit Lions make the Super Bowl after beating the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday, we are going to see how good of a GM Brad Holmes really is. Because when a team makes a Super Bowl, you are going to lose offensive coordinators. You are going to lose defensive coordinators. You are going to lose players to free agency. You are going to get cherry-picked day after day after day. So Brad Holmes And Dan Campbell is going to have to step up their off-season tactics and really bring in a nice group core of guys. Because when we look at this, free agents this season going into the 2024 NFL season, C.J. Garner-Johnson is a free agent, right? Matt Nelson is a free agent. Donovan Peoples-Jones is a free agent. Now, most of those guys will probably walk away. They have like 20 other guys that are free agents currently on the roster, but those are the three names that I pulled out that they probably need to sign in, right? And then you get into 2025. Jared Goff is a free agent. Penei Sewell is a free agent. Taylor Decker is a free agent. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is a free agent as well. Also, on the flip side, John Fox is getting interviewed for offensive coordinator spots. Aaron Glenn getting interviewed for head coaching spots. Ben Johnson getting interviewed for head coaching spots. So, with and when the Detroit Lions make the Super Bowl, we are going to see how good of a GM Brad Holmes is, Hoffy. That's what it comes down to. How good of a GM is Brad Holmes? What are you thinking?
I mean, we're going to find out because he's he's going to probably need to extend Jared Goff. Is he going to, overpay? Is he going to, overpay as far as money so that handicaps what he can, kind of pay? Is he going to give him, more years than, kind of thing? So, I think he's done a great job thus far, but I think the hard work is going to come. We talk about it several times now. With success comes, plucking from the tree. So
Yep.
How is he going to, continue to replenish those fruits and vegetables that are going to be taken from his trees in his garden and continue to put the product on the field? But I think that, playing for MCDC, it takes a certain type of, mentality, a certain kind of person. And I think it's pretty easy to decipher if that person is a fit or not for what they are trying to do in that city. So we'll see if he can, continue to get those, gritty, hardworking, blue collar kind of guys. I think that the draft is going to be where they're really going to have to, they're going to have to hit on those draft picks, but they've done a great job thus far. I mean, when have we talked about the Lions in the last 30 years being relevant? So, I'm liking what I'm seeing from him, and I assume that he's going to continue that success. But yeah, I agree that he's been a pretty solid GM, and I think they have something good going down there or up there, whatever you want to call it.
So let's ask this question. Let's move on past 2024. I think they're going to bring back C.J. Garner-Johnson if he wants to come back. Money is on the table for him to come back. Matt Nelson probably gets signed. He is I think he's a right tackle, or he's like a backup offensive lineman. And Donovan Peoples-Jones probably just walks out the door. They traded him mid-season from the Browns and really hasn't done shit for them. But let's look at 2025. 4 key players there, Hoffy. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, and Taylor Decker are all up for contract extensions or
Penei Sewell is going to get paid.
Contract in general. You could probably only really pay 2, maybe 3 of those guys. You are Brad Holmes, Hoffy. Put on your GM hat here. Who do you sign? Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, or Taylor Decker? All very, very key parts of your team's success for the last 2 years, right?
How many are you allowing me to keep?
Probably can keep 3. So who is going to be the odd man out there?
If you give me 3, I think I'm keeping Goff, Penei, and St. Brown. However, if you told me 2, I'm keeping St. Brown, Penei Sewell, and I might take a page out of the Rams book and, trade away my, trade away my picks and try and either get a good quarterback, that someone like Goff that's, a proven winner, but still kind of on a lesser salary, or try to find, try and find, a rookie quarterback out of the draft that you can, build around. Obviously, I don't think you can move up to and I'm not saying this year. I'm just using this year for, I don't know which quarterbacks are going to be out there next year, but you have quarterbacks like May. You have quarterbacks like the kid coming out of Washington.
Tristan
So,
Polk.
yeah. So you could potentially, let go of, let Goff walk. And if you think you can find a guy in the draft that could potentially give you, day one, come in day one, be a starter. The Patriots had Mac Jones. He did, potentially, had rookie of the year numbers. I know Trevor Lawrence was a number one pick. So that's, but if you could find someone that you could bring in on that rookie contract that you think you could get, quality production out of, that's the route I think I would go. If you could protect him with Penny Sewell, and then you got a weapon in Laporta at tight end, St. Brown as a wide receiver, I think you could potentially have a decent rookie quarterback that can, still help you win. You just need a solid game manager. That's what Jared Goff is. So now to go out and pay him like he is a, Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, I think that really handicaps your team.
I see what you're saying. Let's jump in the comments here. Jim says, I need a small screen in the corner of this, like a sign language interpreter, and make the distressed faces for everyone about what you all are saying. Huh? We could maybe make something like that happen.
Take that comment with you to the dump.
And not FRL. What does FRL mean, Hoffy? You're the cool kid.
No, for real.
For real, on my life, homie. I don't know. And then over here on IG, Hatfield, Isaac says, when Buck talks about Lamar not being a top 3 quarterback, this show is like a South Park cutaway of 2 rednecks hating on the black quarterback.
When have I hated on Lamar Jackson?
You said he's not a top 3 quarterback, Hoffy, so you
said he's not a top 3, but he's absolutely a top 10.
You absolutely, once you say Lamar Jackson is not the best, Hoffy, what happens? You get deemed as a Lamar Jackson hater. You get deemed, you get put on the hit list. You're like, oh, man hour Hoffy, take out because he doesn't think Lamar Jackson's the greatest quarterback of all time. Listen, people out there in the Meta universe, YouTube universe, IG, wherever you're listening to us on platform, iHeartRadio, Big X Sports Radio 96.1. Just because Lamar Jackson is not the best quarterback in the NFL, a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, does not mean he's not a good quarterback. You can be good. You can be really good. Is Jared Goff a top 3 quarterback in the NFL?
Absolutely not.
He's still really good, though, right? Still really good. How about this?
Really, really good game manager, yes.
Is Tua a top 3 quarterback?
No. I think you could argue top 5. That's it.
Still pretty good, right? Still pretty good quarterback. Josh Allen. Now it's starting to get a little tougher. Is he a top 3 quarterback?
I think so.
The correct answer is no, Hoffy. He's not a top 3 quarterback either. But
fuck off.
He's still really, 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 really good. How about this? Dak Prescott. Is he a top 3 quarterback?
No, he's not even a top 25 quarterback.
36 touchdowns to 9 interceptions this year versus Lamar Jackson 24-7. I'd say Dak Prescott's better than Lamar Jackson. Top 5 for sure.
What's he do in the big games? What's he do when he's going up against the San Francisco 49ers?
Ooh.
What's he do when he goes up against the Philadelphia Eagles at Philadelphia?
True story. What does Lamar Jackson do in the playoffs versus this not very good Houston Texans team?
Which is why I don't call him a top 3 quarterback, but he's definitely still a top 10.
Right. I'm just being devil's advocate. Don't shoot the messenger. Slow it down, baby.
Oh, I'm gonna shoot the messenger. Pew pew.
Yeah. Let me get the Nerf gun. I got the double XL. Right
Who the fuck is that guy?
This guy's the greatest damn sports coach on the. Sorry. Shot.
I don't even have bullets in the damn thing.
Yeah, I do. Look at this dart, man. Look how
Oh,
thick
okay.
that thing is. I got got triple rounds, baby.
So this past weekend, it was 2 weekends ago, I set up the downstairs man cave, turned off the lights, put on, the flashy blue-red podcast lights and whatnot, and turned into a little Nerf war room with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron comes out running out of like the closet or whatnot, and I shot him directly in the eye. His eye is still freaking black and blue.
Sheesh.
And he's like, I'm blind. I'm gonna need glasses for the rest of my life to see. So my mom was here, so she gives him her glasses. He puts them on. He's like, I can see again. I'm like, but in that, I shot him in the right eye, and throughout the day, he's like covering the left eye. And I'm like, buddy, you gotta kind of remember which eye. Oh, they're both bothering me. So yeah, don't be shooting your kids in the eyes with those darts.
You know who also did something like that in the playoffs a couple years ago? It was Lamar Jackson. He sprained his ankle, and then he said, "Oh, I got a concussion. I can't play anymore." Versus the Buffalo Bills.
You really are a racist.
Yeah, definitely.
You live in Louisville, and you don't like Lamar Jackson. You have to be a racist.
I have to be a racist. Have 100%. To be a racist. My wife's Puerto Rican.
I put my finger on the trigger. I have figured it out. Buck is a racist.
Yeah, go ahead and put those clown emojis up because that's 100% true.
Isn't Dak like half black?
Probably more than half. He's pretty dark. Let me ask this question, Ginger, my fellow Ginger people out there. Is it half black or is it half white?
I mean, do you ever like, are there any good candies where like the chocolate's in the middle?
Yeah, Oreo.
No, the chocolate's on the outside of the Oreo. The white filling's in the middle.
A peanut butter Oreo? Coffee?
Those are not as good as the regular.
You're right. The best Oreo out there.
Black
best
always
Oreo out
comes
there,
first, baby.
Birthday cake. It's the white on white Oreo. Stupid. So John asked me a question.
Better.
John asked me this question, Huffy, and I think he posted it in the NFL Trash Talk group. Top 3 NFL movies or top 3 football movies of all time.
The Replacements.
Agree.
Waterboy.
Oh, good one.
The Giants.
The Little Giants.
Little Giants, baby.
I actually watched that on YouTube just the other night. All these old heads kept saying North 40 or something like that. Have you heard of the movie called North 40?
I have, yeah. I've watched that one with my father way back when I was like 7.
I've never watched it, but my top 3 movies are The Replacements, Any Given Sunday, and then the new Longest Yard with Adam Sandler.
That is a funny one.
Yeah. And then, of course, I'm a comedy type of person. So, but you could throw Titans up there.
Ooh, remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to be in there. That's a good one.
You could throw Titans up there. You could throw Varsity Blues up there, right? You could throw I think it's called Invincible or something like just like that. Draft Day is a really good movie. There's a lot of good football movies, but my top 3 that I'll watch over and over and over again: The Replacements, Any Given Sunday, and then Draft Day. Those are my top 3.
You have a love for Adam Sandler, huh?
Who doesn't? Has he ever put out a bad movie?
No.
Yeah,
he lives maybe I'm probably 15 minutes from where he lives.
He has put out some bad movies. Jack and Jill was pretty bad, where he plays like the girl.
First Dates, whatever.
The Bedtime Stories was pretty bad. What is Adam Sandler's best movie, Hoffy?
Big Daddy.
That's pretty good. Waterboy's pretty good. No waffle and answer. Name it. What's the best Adam Sandler movie ever?
The one Back to School. Prove to Dad I'm
Billy
not a fool.
Madison.
Yeah.
That's your top 5, or that's your top Adam Sandler movie of all time.
I don't know. I can't make like I got like the four or five. They're all good.
Pick one. Stop waffling around. Best Adam Sandler movie.
Man.
You had to watch the movie for the rest of your life by Adam Sandler every day, nonstop, on repeat, gun to your head. What movie are you picking?
Waterboy.
Grown Ups. Correct answer.
Ugh.
Got some good tatas in that movie.
True.
We out.
Damn it.
Later, guys.